Right folks, welcome back to the channel. Right, this is part 2 then of the little video that I did about the problems I was having with the Husky. So I'm just down at Craig's now, just picked it up and let's just see what happens. So the proof is in the pudding, that's how it should start. So I'll go for a little ride on my way home and I'll tell you the tale. Although now I've just dropped my glove. Oh, typical of me. Off we go. So what's been going on with the bike then? So as you know from the last video, I left the bike down at Craig's for 2 days. Obviously I'd initially hoped that they would just be able to sort it out overnight, but they couldn't, or they preferred to just keep it for a couple of days just to run some further checks on it and so forth. So ultimately what was wrong with the bike? Well, the truth of the matter is that nobody knows. They kept the bike in overnight the first day, which will have been Thursday into Friday. Friday morning they went to start the bike up after it being kept in their unheated workshop all night long, and it started first time just like you've just seen me start it there, no hesitation or anything. And I spoke to the technician. He rang me up from Craig's during the course of Friday, explained that it had started fine on Friday. They'd done some more diagnostic checks on everything, wasn't throwing any faults up, battery's been checked, everything's running as it should be, pointing out the correct power outputs that it should be. So they just said to me, they said, well, clearly something's wrong with it. So they said, you know, would you mind if we keep it another day? So I said, yeah, no problems. So they've obviously kept it Friday night into Saturday morning, because we're on Saturday now. And the idea was that they'd just sort of repeat that test and see if it started okay this morning, Saturday. And lo and behold, yes it did. Just as again you've seen me start it now. It started first thing for them this morning when everything was clap cold, and it's been sort of ridiculously cold again during the night, -4 give or take. So we've been discussing what could have been the cause of it. And what we've deduced from that is that we're not entirely sure. A few suggestions. One being that it could have been a batch, or it could have just been some dirt in the fuel, which was causing the bike to fail to start. But then on the same token, the technician sort of semi-ruled that out, because he said if it had been some poor quality fuel in the bike, then he wouldn't have expected it to run properly. He said it would have been coughing and spluttering and everything, and categorically, hand on heart, it hasn't been doing that. So if it's not the battery and it's not the fuel, I have no idea what it is, and neither have they. The diagnostic results, like I said, have absolutely revealed nothing whatsoever. So it's really just a case now, just suck it in the sea, ride it, see if it repeats itself. Was it just a gremlin in the system that's hopefully never going to rear its head again? Only time will tell. But the only problem is that once a bike's done something like this, sometimes you can lose a little bit of confidence in it, especially if you're riding it in relatively remote places, as I do sometimes, because you can be a bit wary and cautious about turning the ignition off, especially if you're up on the top of the moor somewhere, just in case when you come to start it, it doesn't fire up again. and sometimes in these areas, or those areas, not these areas where I'm in Dewsbury, but in those areas like up in the Dales and stuff like that, you might have no signal, so you might then have to walk a considerable distance before you can get a signal to ring, break down cover, etc, etc. So confidence wise, at the moment I'm happy it's working, that's the main thing. And we shall take it for a few test rides during the course of this coming week leading up to Christmas. I won't go too far on it initially, and when I do come to stop it, I'll try and park on a bit of a descent so I can at least bump it off I need to do. But I suppose in reality I'll know if it's going to behave itself, because if it starts in the garage, the odds are it's going to start, you know, out and about on a ride. You know, I'm at a loss really what the issue has been with it, as are they. But yeah, if it continues to start, fine. I suppose like anything, your confidence grows, or your confidence is restored in the bike, and eventually you'll just put it down to a bad experience or a relatively poor experience with the bike. You'll dismiss it and you'll forget all about it, and you'll just crack on and enjoy the thing. And that's entirely what I intend to do. So yeah, so I'm sorry folks that I'm not able to give you a definitive answer as to what was wrong with it, and I still welcome any suggestions from people who might have experienced something similar, in particular with this model of bike. The guy did say to me, he says that with the items that I've got connected directly to the battery, which is a lead excuse me, which is a lead for the sat-nav, which isn't currently plugged in, and also a lead for the heated clothing, he says that will have no impact whatsoever on any sort of drainage or performance of the battery. So that's what I thought, and that's good to hear from a technician as well. So I know you can get additional units, can't you, like power commanders or some other bits and bats, fuse blocks or something like that, that you can feed these cablings through, have it connected up to the ignition system from a direct feed, but I've never really found that absolutely necessary. So yeah, I'll just ride it, have some fun with it, and see what happens, and take it from there. So what I need to mention though is Craig's Dewsbury. I mean, yes, I know the bike's under warranty and I know I bought it from them, but I can't fault the service I've had from them, from Holly who works there upstairs in the parts, spares, that type of thing department, or also from the guy, I'm sure he was called Ryan, works in the workshop. I think he's the only technician there at the moment. Both of them have been spot on with me. Good communications, clear, concise in what they've been explaining to me about what they're going to do, why they want to do it, etc. You know, rather than sort of just keeping me hanging on, not knowing what's going on with the bike and why they're keeping it as 48 hours. It's good to be kept in the loop. And the most important thing, as a Yorkshireman, is that when I've just gone to collect the bike, even though they've done all this testing on it for 2 days, they haven't charged me a single thing, and that to me speaks volumes for a good, reliable, reputable dealership, one who obviously, I mean, I've recommended them to people before, but again, truly endorse what they do, how they work and their ethics, etc. I can't fault them at all. So yeah, so there's an update for you guys. We'll go for a bit of a ride anyway, and I will turn it off again just sort of when I get clear of this traffic, and then we'll just sort of turn it off, turn it on, and just make sure it's still starting, but I'm fairly confident it will do. So I shall fight my way through this traffic, and I'll come back to you shortly. I do like the sound of that exhaust. I'm getting more appreciative of it. I don't know whether it's a thing with the exhaust, but as I'm getting more use from the bike and the miles are increasing, I think the exhaust is actually sounding a bit more throaty now than it used to do. Anyway, right, you don't want to see all this traffic, and I'll get past it in a minute, but I'll come back to you when I'm in a more suitable location. Alright, speak to you all in a moment. Right, we're back up at the junction, the big roundabout by junction 27 of the M62. So I'm going to take a left here, A650, back towards Tong, Bradford, that neck of the woods. I'm glad it's not as cold as it was when I took the bike down to Craig's. My God, that was a cold day. My fingertips were freezing. It's warmed up significantly, 2 or 3 degrees at the moment. It almost seems quite tropical. It's good to have the bike back though. I have missed it. I like to be able to be in a position where I can just go out on the bike if I want to. And when it's not in the garage, it sort of depresses you a bit, doesn't it? You're restricted. But yeah, good to have you back. And you seem to be running fine, so that's good as well. So I'll just get to this roundabout up here, take a right, and I'm just going to pull over. And then I'll turn it off, turn it on again, see if it starts alright. I'm sure it will do, to be honest. Right, on to the A650 here. Yeah, I'll go straight on here. And this will do. So there she is, chugging away. Right, the moment of truth. So let's turn it off. Let's give it a minute. So yeah, it is good to have the bike back, and I'm pleased that Craig's did a thorough checks on it, diagnostic. They did 2 diagnostic checks on it, checked the batteries at various times of the day, all that larky. First thing in the morning when I brought it down initially, nothing wrong with it at all. And to be fair, let's be honest, there shouldn't be anything wrong with the battery, should there, after 8 months? But we know we do get defective batteries now and again. But yeah, sweet as a nut, and I'm glad I've got it back. So let's just see if it starts. Be funny if it doesn't. Yeah, perfect, just as it should be. Right, well, what can I say? One of life's mysteries. Well, it's filthy. I'm not going to clean it when I get home, can't be bothered, because I'm hoping to get out on bike anyway, either tomorrow, Sunday, or definitely on Monday, and I'm going to try and do a bit of off-roading on it. So there's not much point cleaning it. It's only a few splashes of mud on it. So I like to keep my bikes clean, but with this, put it in gear, it'd help. Put it in gear would help, wouldn't it? Yeah, I like to keep my bikes clean, but I'm certainly not going to pamper it too much because it is an off-road bike. It's going to get dirty, as it should expect as well. Right, let's wait for this traffic to clear. Come on, come on, a couple more cars. And off we go. Right folks, I shall wrap the video up there. As I said, no idea what's been going on with the bike, but it's running at the moment and nothing is obvious in regards to any defects or faults with it. So fingers crossed, touch wood, it says, banging his head, that things continue that way, and that that was just a little glitch, never to be repeated again. So thank you very much for watching. I'm sorry I didn't have a more definitive solution or answer to the issue initially posed. If I do discover anything else, if I do have any further problems with the bike in regards to it struggling to start, I will obviously take it back to Craig's, and hopefully they'll be able to get to the bottom of it. But otherwise, it is what it is, just one of life's mysteries. So folks, thank you very much for watching, hope you've enjoyed it. Everybody take care, and hopefully I'll get out another 1 or 2 videos before Christmas, weather permitting. See you all later, ta-da for now.